That was a intense ass game. I just dropped 38 and 7 time kills.
Nice. Oh, it's just my opportunity. Who's screen shaking? Get the fuck out of here. I got him. Get him. Get lost. Hey folks, Tony Mo here today, and I wanted to sit down and address the Titanfall 2 community directly. This was like the perfect time for this video. I had other plans. I even told my Patreons, hey, I'm gonna do maybe 2 videos this week. Unfortunately, those plans changed when I got a quarter of the way through the week, and I realized that last week streaming, I really did some damage to my vocal cords. My voice is pretty rough right now. I streamed back to back, 3 days in a row, back to back. 8 hours each day just because I was having a good time. We were playing new games and I didn't really think anything of it, and I didn't drink enough water, and I didn't do a lot of things you should do when you talk for that long. As someone who tends to talk probably, more than the average streamer does, it was bad, and it's currently bad. So all those videos kind of cast aside. I've got to try and get some stuff done for next week for the Halloween announcement, for the Halloween special stuff. And so I was like, you know what, today's a good time to sit down and to do something a little bit shorter, and something that I think is also very important. I've got fresh Titanfall 2 footage because I played with Iniquity last week. My movement was terrible, but hey, I had fun with the Kraber, and that's all that really matters. I had fun. So let me talk to you, all of you, the Titanfall 2 community. You're all kind of like an old school Quake or Unreal community right now. There's 3,000 of you on each platform, a little bit more, a little bit less. A lot of you know each other. A lot of you play in the same circles. You recognize each other's names, or you might even be making an effort to recognize some of the names that are starting to pop up, especially in the streaming and YouTube content creation communities. And you're all just, along for the ride. You love this game. You still have fun with it, even if it drives you crazy sometimes, even knowing that it's never going to see another update. And at the end of the day, it's on a downward spiral. It's eventually going to lose players. I will say, spectacularly enough right now, the community is kind of in a moment of stasis. I mean, there's 2,500 plus people on PC. There was a point a year, 2 years back, much more close to the game's release than we are now, where PC had less than 1,000 players. So that's kind of cool, right? I do think the community is sort of stabilized, and who knows how long it'll stabilize for. I really don't know, and I really don't care to guess on that. I just think it's cool that people are playing the game. You can find matches on just about every single platform. I know, unfortunately, it's not the case for every single region. It's pretty much just here in the States. But hey, that's still a really cool thing, and I think you should all hold on to this moment, because there's this wonderful little community built up around this somewhat niche FPS, and it's still just chugging along, and I can still hop on and play the game and have a good time, and that's really fucking cool within itself. But there's a bunch of you who then feel like you owe something back to this game. And that's okay, but it really depends on how far you take that ideology of yeah, it's up to us to keep this game alive. I totally get that, and you want to create a positive community. You want to foster a positive community, a healthy one. You want people to feel like they're welcome. A lot of you, have republished your guides and stuff to be hey, this is how you learn how to do this, and come to my stream and I'll explain it to you, or send you to my movement guide. And you want people to enjoy this game with you, and I super respect that, and I think that's awesome. But this idea that it's solely up to you to do everything in your power to make sure that this game doesn't fade into obscurity and that you don't lose new players, sometimes it gets taken too far. And I don't necessarily think that the mindset initially comes from the players themselves. I think sometimes people throw things at players, especially at streamers and YouTube creators, and I'll frequently see people call out X streamer because they're playing with their friends. You should never play with your friends. You should only solo queue, blah blah blah. You're stomping us all out with your stack. Listen, no. The moment that you put yourself in a position where you are literally okay with never playing with your friends because you believe it's going to keep the game alive and help new players come to the game, that's not a good moment. And it's also a complete fallacy. Again, the game is always going to be on somewhat of a downward trend. And unfortunately for new players, the people who still play the game, they've got a lot of fucking time in this game. They know how to play it. It's never going to be easy for someone who's never played a Titanfall or a movement-based shooter to make their way into Titanfall 2. And honestly, nothing you do will ever change that. This idea that if you just stand in the middle of Boomtown and let them kill you, they're suddenly how going to learn the game and get better. No, it's totally on them. If they enjoy the game enough where they're willing to then go and learn all of the additional mechanics, then great. But nothing you personally do is going to change that. You never queuing with your friends again and only solo queuing is not going to bring new players on board. Do not let this become a thing ever. I just see people talk about it even like, I feel like I should only solo queue. No, just don't. Just don't. Those of you right now playing the game at a higher skill level, still actively playing it, you are the community. You are it. The moment you stop playing, the moment all of you throw in the towel, that's when the game truly dies. It's not up to you to try and onboard new players like this game just came out a fucking week ago. It's not on you. Just drop that rhetoric right here and right now. Again, I do think it's important that you all try and foster a positive and healthy community, the one that is, just devoid of hate and just unnecessary rage towards other players and all of the stuff that makes a community toxic and unhealthy. I think the one thing you can do is to just be a good sport about it, right? And I think a lot of you already do that. I see you. I sit in your streams. I watch your YouTube content. When the other team starts getting absolutely rolled, you lift your foot off the throttle a little bit. You swap from the car to the snowball, from the alternator to the Kraber. You don't call in your Titans, or you put them on auto, and you just try and lay back a little bit. You maybe try and be a little bit silly and grab some 360 Kraber hip fires or whatever. You only hip fire your Kraber. You do pistol only shit, suppressed RE45. Like, I see the lengths that many of you go to try and just slow the roll a little bit when the other team starts getting absolutely stomped. And that's awesome. That's cool, right? That's being a good sport. That's like acknowledging like, it's not going well for these guys. Maybe we just give them a second to catch their breath. And hey, sometimes you end up getting a close game out of that. Sometimes you don't. But I think that's about as good as it gets. You shouldn't expect anything more than that from yourself. And just don't start going down that rabbit hole of like, but what if I only solo queued? And what if I never played with my friends again? And what if I never use this gun ever again? Like, dude, just play the game and have a good time. Titanfall 2 is a time capsule. Like, it's not going to get any balancing changes. What you see is what you're going to get for a very long time to come. So just adapt to that, enjoy the game, and most importantly, have fun. And I think, honestly, the best thing you can do, if you're really convinced that you owe Titanfall something in terms of helping the game grow or even stay stable going into the future, the one thing you can do is to continue to demonstrate yourself having fun. Whether that's posting and sharing clips, being active in a community somewhere that runs private matches, or that just, makes a point of helping players learn the game, or if you're a YouTuber or a streamer, just playing the game, making content for it, having streams for it where you're just having a fucking blast. There is nothing more enticing to me as a new player in a game, especially if I have a really steep learning curve ahead of me, than sitting down and watching someone who already knows what they're doing, having a really good time and showing me what it could be like if I reached even close to that level of skill. I mean, that's the reason I started playing a lot of skill-based games, a lot of skill-based shooters, a lot of movements-based shooters back in the day, like Tribes, because I saw other people playing the game really well and was like, I want to do that. So that's really the best you can give at the end of the day. And a lot of you, again, you already do that. So many of you are already doing the things that you think you need to do to help preserve this game. You're already doing it. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep showcasing that fun factor. Realize that you don't owe as much to this game's future as you think you do. And just play some more Titanfall 2. It's here somehow, still. Play it, enjoy it. And that's really all I have to say at the end of the day. You're all awesome. And seeing this game still kicking and screaming and just refusing to be dragged down into the depths of what is truly a dead game. Trust me, I know. I'm a fan of many a very, very dead game right now. That's a cool thing within itself. This game still fucking rules. The multiplayer is more fun than it has any right to be, and maybe one day we'll get some more of it. Thank you all so much. Stay awesome to one another. Be awesome to those around you. All of that goodness. I can't even think anymore. My vocal cords are screaming. I will see you all in the next one.